That's right, friends. We are live each and every Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern Time, with you and for you, talking about magic tricks, but also giving you the help and the advice that you might be looking for as a magician. And tonight, we have one of the best in the world with us. This man is going to help us talk more about practice with your magic, which is an important topic. And we are talking about the man himself, Mr. Charlie Frye. How we doing, Charlie?
Right, all right. Looks like, wow. Geez, okay. Sherry's phone here.
It's better than nothing.
This was our plan B because the other camera wasn't working. So hey, looks like it's working.
Well, thank you for being here, my friend. It's truth be told, friends, behind the scenes, this has been a complete nightmare trying to get us connected. But we're here, right? We are here. That's what matters. Yes, yes, yes. I'm also going to drop the link. Oh no, it's happening again. Oh God, see, it keeps. That's what it's been doing, everybody. So I don't know when he's being serious about it and when he's just goofing around. I don't know, but hopefully
something for real like a dozen times before 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So friends, we are going to be talking about practice with your magic. We're also going to put the link in the chat here in just a couple minutes so that you guys can also call in and talk to Charlie, ask any questions. We do ask that if you have a question, try to keep it short. You know, we're going to have a lot of people, I think, tonight wanting to talk to Charlie. So if you do have a question, just keep it to one and try to keep it as short as you can as we go on. But first of all, I want to say, of course, thank you to Charlie, but also congratulations on your book.
Congratulations!
You know, a long time coming. I think that's an understatement, right?
Yeah. It's the one and only. There won't be another one. That's it. That's the only one. So yeah.
Is that true?
It only took
40 years. Yes, but no more. That's it. You're actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
One and done.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys know to get your book done because it's the only way you're going to get the goods. You're going to get the goods. All right. So, Charlie, over the last 40 years, you have been a clown. You know, with Ringling Brothers. That's actually where you met Sherry, I believe, and into magic. The one thing I think that's very much in common with magic and juggling is discipline, right? If you don't have the discipline to take your art serious and to practice it, there's really only so far that you can go. So, yeah, why don't we kind of talk about how you decided, one, to kind of get into the world of entertainment, and then we'll kind of get into the practice part of that and how you made it part of your like daily routine, which I know is what you do now on the regular, where you're sitting in your home theater.
Yeah.
Right there, so.
You know, I grew up clowning. You know, we both grew up in North Carolina, and you know, the hotbed of entertainment. So, Luke, what town did you grow up in, Luke?
I grew up in a very small town just outside of Charlotte. It's called Huntersville, right next to Lake Norman and that kind of area. Yeah.
You know, I grew up doing parades with my father and grandfather. You know, clowning and parades and stuff like that. They had a comedy car, an old Model T that looks like it has no driver. It's actually hidden in the car. And Grandpa would walk in front as a tramp clown with a road map, and my father was like a Keystone top, keeping him moving. And I was a little clown on a unicycle trying to keep up, dressed as a. That's
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
That's right there.
That's so cool.
So we did, like, if you went to the shop, you know, when I was 8 years old, you know, so.
He wasn't born.
And so I think you weren't born. That's right. We did it before you were. I'm your father. Lucas. I am your. So, and Grandpa would show me tricks like vanishing a cigarette, which was fine for North Carolina, you know, in the 60s. You know, it was okay for kids to learn cigarette tricks. And I think across the
Tobacco
country.
Road, right?
I think I was 8 years old. And on the plane, I remember I had a bowl of Fruit Loops and a bottle of Jack Daniels. Children's size. Things were so much freer back then. So as a clown, I grew up, you know, learning tricks from my grandpa and then doing kids' birthday parties and stuff, and taught myself to juggle. and just all the skills that I thought a good clown should have. And then so, Ringling, I actually skipped school and drove to Greensboro and just talked my way in. I put on a clown makeup and just talked my way in the back door at the circus to meet some of the clowns and just see if I could, meet somebody that would help me get into clown college. And I talked to a boss clown there, and then uh, they didn't have formal auditions back then. Later they did, but basically I just submitted to clown college and then once there, they used to brag it's easier to get into Harvard than clown college. That's what they used to say. Only out of 4,000 applications, we only take 60. And I remember SAT scores were important. If you had them, you didn't get in. It was pretty much it. The IQ test was spell IQ. So just dumb enough to get in. But then out of that, just getting in didn't mean you got a job with the circus. Out of that class of 60, the last day it was the big performance for the public was actually your audition. And out of that, the next day you just sat around at the hotel and a little car would come up and you would hope it would be you. And you hoped it would be your roommate, because everybody was friends at that point. And maybe half the class maybe got hired on the red unit or the blue unit or circus world. And the rest didn't, they got kicked in the butt with a cold boot, really, and welcome to show business. And then on the road, that's where the real education began. And your first year, you were called a first of May because most people didn't think you would last till the 1st of May. And so, but you were an apprentice. And so the first year, I spent a lot of time, I practiced my big skills during the day and close up at night in my little 4x6 cubicle on the train that I shared with 17 other clowns in that same little cubicle. Yeah, it's very, very,
Oh, wow.
And you think the clown car was crowded with all the clowns in the car.
So
circus car, on the train was also quite crowded. But yeah, so I've always practiced a lot. People now tell me stories about that I've practiced more than anybody else in the circus, and I go, really? Everybody practiced a lot, but maybe maybe I was more obsessive about it. I don't know, So that's a long answer for you. Okay.
Well, I mean, you mentioned something in there that I don't think I know the answer to this off the top of my head. You mentioned that you would practice the close-up stuff on the train. What was it first though that you got bit by? Was it the juggling and the clowning, or was it the magic? Where was that kind of
hand in hand? I think maybe clowning in the very beginning because my father and grandfather, but I got a magic set. My big sister gave me one when I was probably 6 years old, and I still have the little ball vase from it and the little wand. And we moved around a lot when I was a kid. And I think maybe the first time doing the ball vase in first grade, maybe won over a friend or two or something. Or I think I was just bitten by the bug like everybody else, going, "Wow, this is just so cool." And then you would get the magic catalogs and you'd look through there and you'd see nightclub Doug Vanish. And you go, wow, there's nightclubs out there. It's always some, glamorous magician with a mustache and a tuxedo and drawing a girl in a short skirt and, pin-up looking. So, I think, I believe I came to juggling probably last. It was probably, I think I performed juggling in a high school talent show when I was maybe 12 or 13, and basically just taught myself. And that's not a good way to be a high level juggler. The best jugglers are mentored from a very early age, and they're not out in their backyard busting their teeth open with their lips open with croquet balls and stuff like that. So the first time I held real juggling clubs, and I could pick them up immediately because I had taught myself with. Thought it'd be funny for a clown to juggle sink plungers, and I taught myself to ride a unicycle, and I could only afford one wheel, so I had a 6-foot unicycle, and I showed up at clown college thinking, all right, I can juggle and I can ride a 6-foot unicycle. And then as soon as I got there, we saw like 10 people had 6-foot unicycles, and they're passing torches and they're riding the unicycle in the pool and they're doing all this stuff, and it was like, wow, what Sean Emery was another guy from North Carolina. He was from Charlotte, and we hooked up right away and became fast friends. And we were both realized, wow, we were intimidated by all these great uh, skilled skilled technicians, from California and like far off places like New York. And the two of us, though, but we were funny and we formed a team and we were good on the show. We worked together in Ringling for 3 years, and then we worked the streets in New York for a year, and then we both put our own acts together and went in down different paths and stuff. But yeah, it was, I don't know, make a long answer longer. Does any of that make sense?
No, it's
But I
great. Yeah.
the Doug Henning special, the world changed for my generation when the Doug Henning special came out. I think in 1977, day after Christmas, and he did close up, and he was just great. He just put magic back on the map. He single-handedly just, you know, reinvented the art practically, and those close-up spots, and then all the books that Paul Harris was doing. I mean, close-up was going through a real revival at the time. So I remember on the clown car, somebody teaching me a zero shuffle. Wow, and and I started messing with matrix stuff and things, and I always loved billiard balls, and I was always thinking of ways to incorporate it in the show, and that's where I came up with my giant Lincoln ring routine to read for 18,000 people, and later when I was doing that on stage, somebody said, "You stole that from a circus clown. I saw a circus clown do that in Madison Square Garden." And I go, "I was that clown. I was that clown." I think I tell them with my zombie bowling ball, and how I was thinking about doing it with a zombie elephant turd, because some ideas are better to stay in the book. But I've been keeping for since back then. I've been keeping different journals, which I think is the best creative tool. I'm now on book 82.
Oh, wow.
That's number 82.
I remember when I was at your house last, you showed me some of your other journals that actually look like, they reminded me of like the Indiana Jones book, like the one that his dad gave him for the Grail. Like you have a really cool, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and leather like a grimoire.
Yeah.
But it looks aged. I have another one I made like a Svengali, so it looks like a blank book. If anybody picks it off the shelf and thumbs through it, they'll think it's blank, unless they thumb it the first way. Yeah.
That's funny. So you mentioned, on the train of all places, I think that's a great starting point, is like, there is no excuse not to practice. It doesn't even matter where the heck you are, right? I mean, you were on a train going from point A to point B, and you still found this.
Shut up! Well, Sherry and I, we met in the circus and everything. We got together in the circus, and we've lived in such cramped quarters, like on ships or the circus or things, that sometimes I joke we've gone from soulmates to cellmates, basically. But yeah, I practice my big skills during the day and my small skills at night. And speaking of practicing all the time, there's no excuse for, if you want to get good at coins or something, carry yourself down. Oh yeah, here's the grimoire. This is the one that we were talking about. It looks
yeah, that's so cool.
Look at that. There's any card at any number. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so if you want to be coins, you carry a silver dollar or a 50-cent piece around with you all the time. You want to be good at cards? Carry cards all the time. Have them by the nightstand. The last thing I do at night while we're watching TV or something, I'm practicing with the cards. And the first thing I pick up in the morning is a billiard ball, and so you can always practice. Marlowe used to practice during the movies. He would, Marlowe would sit there. Now, Bill Malone told me this. They'd go to a movie, he'd put his hat on his lap, and he would just sit there and practice deals, second deals, bottom deals, and everything while the movie was on. He would just deal into his hat. And after the movie, he would go, "How was the movie?"
So the practice that you did, obviously you were dedicated to it, but creativity is one thing. Creativity, you can't really turn on and off. You can give yourself a time to do it, but that doesn't mean you're going to be fully creative. But with practice, do you think it's a good idea to actually schedule dedicated time and actually do it that way? Or do you feel like it's more, this many days a week, I'm going to do this? Or is it more about, for you, carving out time? And I know you're an extreme case, so.
I do. But getting back to creativity, I do think that is a muscle that you have to flex. I think creativity, if you're into magic, if you're into it and you're into the process, I think it's always going to be in the back of your mind. You're going to get an idea that's going to, you're going to be at a restaurant and something's going to pop into your mind or something. So uh, write down those ideas, write down everything. A journal is a great creative tool. So I think creativity is no matter what you're into, it's that is stay creative, be inspired, enjoy the process. But okay, getting back to the actual formal practice, yeah, I every other day I do a really hard practice in the studio with my with juggling.
Mhm.
So every other that works for me. It's probably better to do it every day and stuff, but to me, sometimes some of the enthusiasm, I burn out a little bit. For me to stay into it, I I go every other day. So I'll be like a 2 hour hard, sweaty practice every other day. And and then the other days, I'm still up in the studio practicing stuff, but I might be practicing new things I'm working on. Always got a lot of works in progress going on, and so I'll polish other routines. But so every other day, and when we're doing shows somewhere, of course, you're working every night. I don't have to practice so hard during the day. I'll come in before the show, 2 hours before the show, and practice for like an hour before the show. And so every other day, the first thing I do is I run through the juggling act, and I have to do it flawless. If I make a mistake, I start from the beginning and I do it again. And then after I do that, then I get into the harder stuff that I don't necessarily perform, but that makes the other tricks that I do perform easier, like juggling 6 balls with 5 clubs and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's I say the love of process is the secret to creativity. The love of practice is the secret to talent, or at least skill acquisition.
Mhm. Do
If
you have
you,
any
you love
tips? Oh, sorry.
and yeah, so I do have to skip a day to let calluses heal and to keep the enthusiasm up and to not burn out. If I do, if you do a couple days on and then you just take a week off, well, you're gonna lose. It's better to do a little every day, or the regimen like I have. I think it works for me. It's better to do a little every day
Mhm.
than a lot one day and then skip like a week. You're not gonna make progress that way. But yeah, I practice magic every single day. You know, uh,
Mhm.
but my hard juggling I do every other day.
Whether it's magic or juggling, practice, obviously it's a different skill set, but do you have any, I guess, tips, or is there like one tip you would share when it comes to making the most of the time that you have? Because I know a lot of us, distractions, focus is obviously a word that gets thrown around, but um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I focus practice. Focus goal oriented practice. I put on music and I practice to it. And a lot of times it's music that maybe I'll do something with someday. And so I'm hearing it all the time. I'm getting so used to it. So then if I put a piece to it, I know that song inside and out. And so I enjoy practicing the music. And that lets me know when my first hour is up and my second hour is going, you know. Um, uh, what's there? Yeah, just discipline on the love of it. But I think Steve Forty talks about when he was, practicing, 10 hours a day and stuff with cards and everything, a big old stack. He was pretty obsessive at practice, and look where, how great his skill is. So, people say obsessive compulsive like it's a bad thing. I don't think it's such a bad thing, really, when it comes to talent. I think Malcolm Gladwell said talent is the desire to practice. So if it's not a chore, if you love it, you're going to do it more and you're going to get better at it. If you don't love it, I'll find something else. I think Di Vernon said, if you don't love to practice, find another hobby. You know, uh,
Well
so
said.
and you can get into magic and love it without having to do manipulation or sleight of hand or anything. That's what I'm into. That's what I like. But
Mhm.
certainly, you could find other creative outlets. Just the psychological, the cerebral side, the mental side of magic. You can make great strides creatively without having to have that kind of a practice regimen, but you still might have a rehearsal regimen.
Right.
Practice in front of an audience. Rehearsal is pretending you're actually performing. That's when like David Williamson talks about how he used to perform for his stuffed animals, you know, and that got him out of his shell. So if you're, say, you're working restaurants or whatever, you can rehearse by setting up, you know, stuffed animals are just, I have masks on them, just pretending, you know, pretend performance in front of an invisible audience, you know. So uh, rehearsal is important, as important as practice.
If you could only choose one, if you could only, and I know the juggling is connected to the clowning background, but if you can only choose one, magic or juggling, what would you choose? And while you think about that for a second, I'm going to let you know we've got a lot of questions coming in already. We've got the link in the chat for people if they'd like to call in and connect with Charlie. But if you could only choose one, which one do you think you would choose? I know you love them both, so.
What, Sherry?
Is it magic? You don't have to practice.
Sherry says magic. Sherry says magic because I don't have to practice as much. You're
Aha.
not injured. There's less chance of calluses and you know, injury in magic. So, but yeah, I probably, you know, oh, sometimes I don't know how much I love juggling. You know, I love to watch great jugglers and, you know, and everything and stuff, but I don't go to many jugglers conventions. You know, I go to more magic conventions, but
Right.
it's usually because they hire me. There's only like one big jugglers convention, and you know, it's all about they don't. So I've lectured at those and stuff, and I like them, and
Yeah.
I've got a sword on the wall from them and stuff. But I'm not a hobby juggler. You know, some of the old time Francis Braun is the greatest juggler ever and stuff. We've talked about this and how when he was coming up, it wasn't a hobby; it was a profession. You know, so something you did like a circus artist. You know, that wasn't your hobby, the trapeze. That was your profession. And so I think about juggling that way for me. It's my profession. That's
Gotcha.
two different things. But juggling, you know, I see it more of the audience didn't love it. If they didn't respond to the way I perform it, that wouldn't have kept me going. You know, just the love of throwing things up in the air and stuff. For me, it's a performance art. For some people, it's a hobby and a sport, and it's great. It's a great sport. You know, it's great. They can get a lot of fun out of just sitting back by themselves and just hitting a trick and knowing they've hit it. And nowadays, uploading it to YouTube or whatever. You know, but for me, it's really for me, it's a performance art. That's I do it because the audience likes it, and I like that they like it. I like that they respond to it, and I'm giving them a good time. And yeah, there, you know, I do like it, but it is my profession. It's work. It is work.
Well, what is the old thing? It's kind of like a what was
When
that?
I took magic, I mean that's just play. You know, a lot of times that can be so much fun, just messing with each other. You know.
And you're good at that.
Rare occasion that I have a friend come over and we're passing clubs or something like that, then that can be fun too. But that's a rarity.
Yeah. Kind of the old rumor. It's not a rumor. It's like the old saying. You go to a magic convention, the juggler always steals the show, and especially when their name is Charlie Frye. I mean, it's a
Well,
given.
I, I've talked about that before too. But usually there's only one, and usually it's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, and I say the same thing would happen at a juggling convention if you have a magician and it's only one and he's great.
Right.
And proof of that is Ricky Jay in 1983. I think I did a juggling convention for the IJA, and my act was horrible. I just out of the circus, and I was just starting to piece together stuff, and I was still in clown makeup, and I was just terrible. But Ricky Jay performed on the show, and he just brought the house down. It's great. So, you know, but usually, you know, your skill is out in the open with juggling, and most of the time, the juggler that's hired for magic convention is pretty darn good, and yeah, and magicians they can recognize the skill. Same with the manipulative act, though, too. You know, that'll often kill because magicians can recognize how great the skill is. When it comes to illusion, you're applauding the originality. you know.
Right.
But if it's somebody who's doing the standard illusion that we all have seen before and know, well, they're not going to kill unless they've got a really great presentation, original presentation,
Mm-hmm.
or an original, a different approach. They got to bring something to the table. If your skill isn't obvious and on display, then hopefully your creativity or your character, your personality, or your lines, your material, you know, something's got to be up there.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to let you know we have our first caller, Mr. Charlie Frye. So we're going to get to some of the other live chat questions too. But here is our first guest. This would be Mr. Ryan Wallace coming to us. You're up in Massachusetts, right, Ryan?
Central Massachusetts.
Let me go ahead and are you? You're unmuted, right? Got you unmuted.
Yeah,
We don't hear you there, Ryan. Do you have your audio source checked there? Let's just double check. We don't hear you. Yeah. Nope. Can't hear you. Nope. Let's just give him a second. I'm going to come back over here to Charlie.
Just because I say something doesn't mean it's true. You know?
Okay.
If it's true to you, take it to heart. If it sounds like BS, then let it go through, and distinguishing between the two is where you find your own way. You know?
Mm-hmm. Here's another question for you. This one comes from Michael Mayo. He's all about history and things like that. Oh, nice. Take a shot.
Sure.
Mayo wants to know, what are your feelings on the importance of studying magic history? Obviously, that's something that's important. Actually, Michael is calling in right now, so I'm actually going to bring him in so he can ask you that face to face, because Michael's one of our historians. He loves the history of magic. So, yeah.
Hi, Charlie.
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I was curious about what your take is on the importance of studying magic history.
Why wouldn't you? You know, it's fascinating. It's great. You know, I've reread the Chung Su book again recently, that Steinmeier did, and the Cardini book recently, and I love watching old clips, which is history. And Teller came over recently, and he was talking about how Carl Germain is one of his big influences, you know, and stuff. And yeah, I just don't know why anybody wouldn't want to study the magic history, because, or, you know, theater history in general. It's fascinating. You know, it's great. There's such great stories and great characters, and it's inspiring. And now and then you'll come across something, you'll come across a principle or a trick or something. You go, whoa, you know,
Yeah.
and that will lead you into new material, you know, new ideas, new material. So, yeah, I don't understand why anybody would want to ignore that part of this art, because it's got a really, really rich history, theatrically and culturally and anthropologically, and so yeah, it's fascinating. It's entertaining, and yeah, it's just it's a great study. I don't know how you could be into magic and not be into learning about it, you know, and and for inspiration, you should always. I don't see how you could ever get really burned out and not inspired. If you're burned out and not inspired, watch Fred Katz. You know, watch
Yeah.
Cardini's act, man. Just watch it. We're so lucky we can watch it all the time. Back when I was starting, I was lucky to see Cardini's act once by going to the Museum of Broadcasting in New York and pulling up the kinescope or whatever it was in a private room and getting to watch it once. You know, and always looking forward to seeing Fred Katz and getting to see it, you know, once. And now we can see it. We can see all this stuff all the time, and people almost take it for granted. And this is gold, you know. So yeah, I I love history. What are you reading now? What are you studying now?
Right now, I just actually got the Fred Capps book in English. Actually, that was printed in the Netherlands, but I just picked this up.
Ah, see, man, there's the man. Jeez, yeah, great, great. I'm gonna put that on my Christmas list.
All right. Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks for being into history.
He's all about it, Charlie. That's for sure. And
All right.
Ryan, I'm going to try to bump you. There we go. What's that?
Please.
Let's see if we can get.
All right, there we go.
Oh, good. We're good. All right, cool.
Yep, there we go. Now,
no,
now we
Charlie's-
got.
Charlie's
Oh,
down.
jeez.
Charlie is down. Hold on one sec, Charlie. Oh no. Let's give him a second. There we go. Are you okay?
Yeah. Sure, he's decided to take a little dive.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
There we go.
Cool. What you got there, Ryan? What you got?
All right. So my question for you is, how important is it to have patience when you're actually first developing like a new trick and a new routine? Because I know, myself included, whenever we're starting to learn that first like new magic trick that we just got, we like really get so excited over it. We want to go out and perform it for people. But in order for us to actually do it and like have the good skill we need for it, we obviously got to put in the practice for all the slides, watching yourself and everything like that. So how important is it to actually have the patience to like really go through a routine in effect first before you even think of performing it for another person?
Oh, absolutely. You have to be patient, disciplined, and you know you're going to get to a plateau. A lot of times practicing, you get to a plateau and you go, gosh, I'm not going to get any better at that. And you got to stick with it until you make it to the next plateau and stuff. So yeah, if you get frustrated easily, don't juggle first off, because it's mastering frustration. You're going to be constantly picking things up, and no new trick. For me, nothing comes easy. I think some people sometimes think, well, it must come easy. Maybe some things a little easier because I've got a good foundation, but most of the stuff that I do has been hard won. And but so yeah, you gotta get past the frustration, and don't keep. If you're getting frustrated and it's just not working, sometimes it's good to just walk away from it for a little bit. Just walk away and recharge your batteries and freshen up, and then come in with a new outlook on it. Are we still on? Are we still live? Are we still working?
Yep.
Okay. Looking at this little thing. So, and I tell people in the beginning, you practice everything. You practice everything. You learn a million ways to vanish a coin and stuff. But then when you actually start performing and you work on a routine, what's the one that's going to fit? What's the one you're actually going to use? So that's the one you practice. And you can drill the heck out of it if you know your technique is good. If your technique is good, then you can just drill it, and and maybe if it gets too frustrating, and you can't analyze it, you can't figure out why it's just not working, well, maybe shift gears, try something different. Try, maybe
That's really good. That's really good advice.
Yeah. What are you working on at the moment? What?
So one thing that I'm actually working on right now that I've actually, like as you said, it became frustrating, and now I'm trying to veer back into it, is Avi Yap's Threaded. So it's his take on the Charming Chinese Challenge. So I'm actually currently working on that one right now, and there are definitely some moves in there that are a little bit trickier to do, but it's still such a great routine that I actually just want to put in the focus to fully get that thing done and just, again, make him proud and then just fully perform it for other people. Because to me, that's not just a trick, it's a piece of art.
Yeah. So, and there's nothing you can simplify in that for the first time out or anything, a little bit?
That's what I'm actually trying to think of with that, because some of the things that he actually teaches in it, there are definitely some more complicated things, but there are also very simple things. It's just having to put the right flow in it is the best way that I can describe it for that one. It's a brilliant routine. It's just, again, getting the right flow for everything. It's nothing like too complicated. It's just flowing everything together for the routine. That's probably the trickiest part right now.
The first time I do anything, I try to give it a soft opening if I can. For friends or this medium, you can do it via Zoom or. I try and the first time, give it a soft opening with friends or something, and make it as easy on yourself as possible. You know, just to start getting in the groove, and then you'll learn a lot from that first attempt, first thing, and then you can add in the layers and everything. But in the beginning, try and make it easy on yourself if you can, especially so that the observer effect, it's not just quantum mechanics, it's in real life too. When people are watching, the dynamics change. Suddenly, things feel different, that a little bit of adrenaline, a little nerves, things. So I always advocate keep things easy on yourself at the beginning. Do the stuff that feels so soft and so that, and then layer in the extra levels to get it where you want. That's what I see.
Cool.
That is amazing advice.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
Good.
guys. Thank you very
I thought
much.
about my arse.
Yep. All right. Perfect.
Cool.
Thanks,
for
Luke,
being
for
here,
having me
Ryan.
on.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yep. Yep.
All right. And our next guest coming in is our friend, one of your biggest fans out there, Charlie. Let me unmute him real quick. Scott, if you want to unmute yourself, it says you have muted yourself. If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself so we can bring you on to talk with one of your...
you have muted yourself.
I unmuted.
All right. Here we go. Bring on the man himself, Mr. Scott R. Smith.
Hey, Scott.
Here we go. Bring on the man himself, Mr. Scott.
Uh-oh. We got some echo going on, by the way.
Charlie, you are one of my greatest entertainers. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'll fix that. Okay.
Yeah, you'll
there,
fix
now-
it. My greatest.
Anyway,
You're not really such a great
first time
singer.
I
I'll
got
fix
to
it.
see you live, I saw you all the time during COVID, which was brilliant. But the first time I saw you live was at the SAM convention during the All Things Magic get-together, and man, was that a blast. The only thing I was disappointed in was I thought, crap, your show didn't last long enough. So
Yeah,
what my curiosity is if I travel somewhere to see your show somewhere, are your regular shows longer?
it depends. If I'm doing an act, like the juggling act is 11 minutes, the manipulation act is 9 minutes, the parlor show is like half an hour. If I put it all together, then, we do a show that runs, 45 to 50 minutes or something if we put it all together. So it depends. It depends on the venue. Sometimes we're hard to do an act. Sometimes we're hard to do a show. So yeah, it depends. I don't think the magic world has seen our full show where we pull out all the stops. Yeah, I don't think so. But in the real world, that's what we do.
That's what I want to see. I want to see your big show.
Yeah, well.
Well, I live near St. Louis, so I'm on the Illinois side, but I want to see your big show one of these days. So hopefully I'll get to see one.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Scott.
my last thing is I adore your book. The introduction, what I've been telling the guys is worth the price of the book. I really enjoyed what you had to say about practicing.
Oh, good. Just read the introduction and skip the rest of the book. That's really just read the intro. That's it. Are you working on any routines out of it or anything, Scott?
What's that?
Are you working on any routines out of it?
No, not yet. I might, and Luke can attest to this. My whole magic room has been completely updated. My wife actually let me spend money on building new bookshelves and putting in hardwood floors, and really awesome. So all my books and stuff are sitting in a big pile.
Yeah, wow, that's great though. You're making it into like a library, a magic library. Great.
It is a great thing. But all my magic, which is in tons of boxes, like 80 boxes, are sitting in a bedroom, and I can't touch them until I'm ready to move them back in here.
Yeah, we'll just put a stamp on them and send them out here. Sherry would love me to have more magic crap around the.
Like
nothing would be happier to open another closet. So.
And it's also worth noting, Charlie, that Scott we've kind of pinned the term, he's the all things magic librarian, because while he doesn't have the setup now, his usual setup, he is surrounded by books. He's got bookshelves just full of magic books, and we love Scott.
Great. Yeah, magic books are they're great. That's where gold can be found. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I totally
There's actually a question. Ralph Forbes wanted to know. He wanted to ask, which format do you prefer to learn from? Video, books, live lectures, or maybe it's a combination of some of these. But Charlie, do you have a preference?
Yeah, well, to actually learn moves in action, video is great, and actually, some of the older videos, the better. I mean, you think about things like Johnny Paul and stuff. The videos, those old VHS that were like $65. They were, and back in 1980, $65 was like $30,000 today or something. I don't know, it's something like that. But some of these people like Don Allen and you know Johnny Paul and stuff, that they put their acts on video and their material, and it was great. I mean, they didn't just decide to, oh, I need to make this month's rent, I got to make a video. I've been into magic 6 months and I got 9 DVDs. So some of those old ones, I still watch Williamson's old videos sometimes. I watched, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching Williamson. I've seen those a million times. But boy, he's got such great advice on, just sleights and stuff. Just great. So for actually learning the action moves, video's great. It's great. But books, to me, then you read between the lines, and your imagination kicks in, and you imagine the routine, what it would, and that that's very immersive. It's very, you're no longer kind of passively watching and learning, from somebody. You're learning through the ages, and so it's just a different meaning. I love them both. It's I don't know. I love them both. Love them both.
Well, there's a follow-up
Depends.
question from Richie to Magic. He says, what would
Totally
be your top three?
totally natural. Really,
You have,
like Barry Richardson's books and stuff like that. You don't need to learn the sleights in there. You need to learn, his thinking, and and on the printed word, there's more depth of thinking usually that I think.
do you have a top three favorite list of books? A top three. That's from Richie to Magic. Do you have a top three list, Charlie Frye?
I love Paul Harris's Art of Astonishment series. Always loved them. So that's 3 books.
Good.
There's 3 books right there. For show business inspiration, the Cardini book, and for history, any of Steinmeier's books, so the stories. I love great stories, great magic stories. Well, it's hard to just, yeah, Steve Forte's book. Oh my gosh, the Gambling Sleight of Hand books, those 2 mammoth books, which I helped edit, those are the be all and end all of gambling moves. I mean, it might be heresy to say that, but Erdnase is kind of obsolete when you look at Steve Forte's contributions to Gambling Sleight of Hand. I mean, my gosh, there'll never be another Steve. It's that could be that that could be a lifetime pursuit, and it is a lifetime study.
Yeah.
But I love Barry Richardson's books too. I love Barry, and I love the way he wrote, and I love the David Burglas book that was written by David Britland.
Yeah.
That's that's one of my favorite books.
It's a good one. Nice and
People, David Burglas.
good read. And Scott, we're going to let you run. We've got another caller coming in here, so Scott, I'm going to let you run. Thanks for popping on, though. Good to see you, buddy. Question coming in is we have another caller. Let me just add him real quick here. When you practice, because this is about practice today, when you do practice, do you go old school with the mirror, or do you record yourself and watch that? That's a really good question, especially now with phones even able to record stuff. Do you go mirror time, or do you like to record it and then watch it back and kind of critique yourself?
I'm really old school. The mirror is there it is. Yeah. So I practice in front of a mirror, but like with juggling and stuff, it's not like you can watch yourself much. So I practice in front of a mirror, but I've always videoed my practices too. So I just don't do it as much. But like during the pandemic, videotaping everything and putting it up, uh, you know, that I spent a lot of time studying those videos and things. So um, yeah, I use video, but not all the time. You know, all the time in front of a mirror. You know, but video is great. It's a great tool for analysis. It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we bring in
But
our next, oh, sorry.
Not for whatever. Whereas a mirror is just there. So
Right. Before we bring on our next guest, one of our All Things Magic, he was in the show that you did as well, Chad Long.
oh, one of the greats.
Chad says he loves the self-working books, like 40, Ernest Eric, Ortiz, the easy stuff, right? Those are his.
The guaranteed reputation makers. That's right. No skill required, which I think are the most damaging words in magic.
Good to see you, Chad.
Always skill required. It's just presentational skill. There's always skill.
Let's bring in our next guest here. We have Ryan Daniels. He's my buddy over there from the Virginia area. Good to see you, Ryan. How's it going?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Where in Virginia?
So I live right outside Winchester, Virginia, so I'm about an hour and a half west of DC.
Oh wow! I was born in Galax, down way south.
Oh wow,
Virginia.
okay. Okay, yeah, I'm up by Harrisonburg and Winchester, so yeah, wow, okay. So my question for you, because I've been digging through your book and reading the section on building a character.
Oh, good.
Because I'm currently working on writing a stage show, so I've been reading that section pretty heavily recently.
Good.
And I just wanted to know, what is the best piece of advice you have on building a character?
Oh, well, starting with who you are, you're making a good list of who are you. You know, what are you into? How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. And you know, is your show going to be pure entertainment, or you want to be autobiographical, or you want to?
For now, I want it to be pure entertainment, just because I don't have a lot of autobiographical stuff to talk about.
Good, because a lot of people have got Derek Delgadio on the brain.
I am a very big fan of his, and I just also recently watched the Zach Mears show as well, which was very much like that.
Derek is fantastic. He's fantastic. He's deep. He's great. And I joke to him that I'm the anti-Derek. I'm just about, which I think is a good thing too, for the audience just escape their world for a little bit and leave their troubles on the doorstep and be part of your surreality for a little bit. I think it's refreshing. You give them a break from life. But a lot of people are trying to be like Derek. And I feel like there's just one Derek. My gosh, that is such a moving show, and he's great. And I think, he changes people's lives. I just want to make them bearable, but it's wonderful. But the thing about being so wonderful is it casts such a big shadow that a lot of people want to be like him. They want to be him. And it's refreshing to hear you say, well, I'm 25. I just want to do a show that entertains. Don't really have a lot of life story yet. That's very self-aware. I think that's great. You're not going to go. Well, sometimes it can get a little pretentious. When a younger person comes out, they start to pontificate a little bit and talk about life and the way you should be and the lessons I've learned in my 25 years of life. Like 10 minutes in show business. And so if you're on a good path, that you're some people, when they do this, I say, don't even start the show that way. If people don't care in the beginning, they just want to be entertained. If they like you and they start getting curious about you, well, maybe about 15, 20 minutes into the show, then maybe you can do a character piece where you start to talk about, you may wonder, why I do this or where I came from or whatnot. Then now you've won them over, and now they are a little curious about, what is this kid? How did he learn to do that? That's what's going through their head. And you can answer that question. And it's not heavy-handed or as a lecture. It's genuine curiosity that you can feel from the audience and that you're bonding with them. There's a rapport going on now. At the beginning, just
Right.
entertain. And think of your opening, think of your finale, try and weave the pieces together, find natural segues if you can, so that it doesn't feel like for my next trick, for my next trick, for my next trick. No, really try and find ways of weaving them together so it flows. And so far as your character, yep, start with who you are. How do you dress? Think about the way you dress. As soon as you walk out, you make an impression. You know, even if it's just jeans and a t-shirt, that's a costume. That makes an impression. So think about that. Think about how you're going to what your first piece is going to be. I suggest making it short, visual, and entertaining. If you listen to Ray Pierce's advice, I think he's got a great thing on YouTube where he talks about crafting a show, and he puts it into 5 parts. Basically, your opener, your snazzy opener, win them over. Your personality piece, now you start to show your personality with the next piece. Your ballad, now that you tell something about yourself, a more serious piece or something. And now you get to your closer, which is getting big, the big finish, and your final kicker, your last moment of, what you want to express. Thank you very much. Get on your feet, worship me. So, yeah, but start with, who you are, make a list of all your characteristics, what you look like, what you sound like. Don Allen used to say, stand in front of the mirror naked. And, which was, it's like, you think about it, he looked at himself honestly, and he looked and he goes, I'm not a Hollywood actor, I'm not what am I? And he looked at himself and I don't think he should have done it in public. I think it was at a men's store when he did this, or I think it was in the children's department at Macy's. I don't know. It wasn't a good thing. No, but you look at and he's so funny. He's on like so watch his personality, how funny he was. And he was starting with who he was. He was kind of a funny looking guy that was he went with who he was. I think I say in the book, you can always ask your friends or a director. You can ask your friends to kind of sum up your character, your personality, what they think about you, and then get new friends because who wants to hear that kind of honesty? I don't. A director can help, but yeah, start with who you are and see if you can exaggerate a little bit, and find what pieces work the best for you that when you perform for your friends, what works the best for you, and analyze it. Why does this work the best for me? Why is this one killing? Is it the material? Is it the lines? Is it my personality coming across? Why? What are the key things that make this such a good piece for me? And how can I apply that to my other stuff and amp it up even more? And I hope that helps.
Yeah, that definitely was amazing advice.
Who is your audience? Who will be your audience at the beginning too?
Right, yeah, I'm not sure at this point. I'm still just kind of writing it out to see what I want to do.
Great. Well,
So,
that's good. Write it down. Script it, and you don't have to stay to your script, but script it so that you do have you do chart a course.
oh yeah, definitely. That's what I've been working on recently, so I'm kind of pushing towards figuring out my character and stuff. So,
Great. Yeah, it's a journey of self-discovery. Yeah.
yeah,
And the older
definitely.
you get, the more hair you lose, the more character you get. That's really a character. Fine wine or stinky cheese comes with age. I tell young people, practice the moves. When you're young, just practice the techniques, get the techniques, and character will come with age, and it will.
Wow, that is amazing advice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you, Luke, for bringing me in. Thank you, Charlie, for the advice.
All right.
Cool. Thanks for popping on, Ryan.
Of course.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, Mr. Frye. We've got one more person popping on here. His name's Eric Hershey. and he is joining us right about now. How are we doing, Eric?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. First of all, wonderful book, incredible
Yeah.
book. I love reading it. Yeah. And we've had you up a couple of times in our area at the Kutztown Festival, the Kutztown Magic Convention in Pennsylvania. So I've
Yeah.
seen wonderful lecture, and I think you did the juggling act both times. And then I get to see all of your cool magic bits as the individual acts online. But as you said, we haven't really seen as magicians, we haven't seen the full run of the magic act. And so I haven't seen the transitions. You were just talking about it, though, about the importance of transitions. And that's, I think, my weak point is to try to figure out how much do you think you need to really directly connect routine to routine or trick to trick? And do you do it, is it okay to just do it with a simple word connection, or do you really kind of feel like you need to have one lead into the other, or is that too
I don't
constant
think
and
you
they need
have
a break?
to do that. I don't think you have to, but it's great to do. So, like on our parlor show, after I do the myth act, I I will do one of the routines out of the book, the cups and balls with the tennis ball, which is played like a shell game. That's like one of the first things that I'll do, the talking piece. After I've done the silent piece, and it starts with a game. It doesn't start as a magic trick. It's a game. It's a game, and I talk about being a game and play with the audience. And at the end, all the tennis balls appear and stuff. So then I pick up the tennis balls, I juggle for a second and go, well, a good juggler can do 3 balls, a very good juggler, 5 balls, a great juggler, 8 balls. Would you like to see me do 8 balls? And I get into that as a gag. And so it just segues naturally to the juggling. And then there's another form of juggling, which is balancing. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but so now I'm balancing something. So, and I do a balancing trick. And after the balancing trick, which is like knives and stuff, then I'll balance the spoon. It's because it's the most difficult object, and I'll balance the spoon. And then from the spoon, it'll get into spoon bending. And some of that is in the book too. So far, everything has just naturally flown from the people.
Mhm.
And
And
after the
so, and it's a
spoon,
progression.
yeah, and after the
It's,
spoon, which was spoon bending, I balanced it, and now I've done mentalism, bending it. There's another form of mentalism which has to do with predicting the future. Well, now I've segued into a mentalist piece, a comedy mentalist piece, and that involves cards, jumbo deck. Well, after that, I pull out even bigger cards and do my juggling Monty, my giant Monty with the big cards. And that segues naturally. The big cards to the bigger cards. So, I like to find things like that just kind of naturally flow. If you can, give me an example of 2 pieces, that are disparate, that right now have nothing in common with each other that you would like to segue.
Well, lucky that I have, well, one that I'm doing right now that I've been putting together that I've been doing for about a year is an American History Act. So I have actual chronological history that leads easily one to the next because it's there. That's the
Well,
story.
that's
But
natural. Yeah.
in my main act is a country magic act, and I just feel like there are times that I'm not saying the and now for my next trick, but it feels like I'm just kind of going and now for my next trick. But I do some that where you're saying is just like I do one about camping, and that's what I love about living in the country. And then something else in the country is next to the camping site is a orchard, and I do a trick with fruits. But I didn't know if that's strong enough just to kind of make a single word connection or a thematic connection verbally.
I, I, I think so.
Okay.
I think anything that kind of bridges and keeps the flow and makes it feel like one piece hasn't really stopped and the other piece starting, but they kind of blur the line. They kind of flow into each other. It can be just as simple as
Okay.
a line or a common prop or a common theme. You know, um, so
And that's not
and
cutting off the applause.
it's so smoother and, and flow nicely. In a theatrical sense. So, you know, I think if you know what you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. You get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Thank you.
I don't think you have to do it, but I think it's just a good thing if you can. And if you can't
Thank
find those things, you can't. But if you can, you can even find a little piece that bridges the gap, or a line, or a joke, or a story, or a prop. That's if you can find those things that connect it, uh, it'll add cohesion to your. I think the way stand-ups go from subject to subject to subject, but they find a way to bridge the gap if they can. What Steve Martin says, the interstitial moments, the moments between the moments, how important those are.
Love it.
Interstitial moments. I think that's it.
Yeah. And thank you for the examples of what you do in yours.
Yeah, tell nobody to do it.
I won't. That's book 2.
Cool.
Thanks
Well,
so much.
thank you, Eric, for popping on. And is it true you're Eric Hershey from Pennsylvania? Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, next to Hershey. Yeah.
I love the pictures in the background. He's got Herman and
Oh,
all
thank
those.
you. Yeah. My little magic
Oh,
cabin.
we got Three Musketeer, kind of a swashbuckling hat back there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pirate hat and my top hat. I have different character acts. But
Great. Yeah, characters are a great thing to do in a show. John Carney does a lot of different characters in his uh, one-man show. And well, Carney's such a great actor. He's excellent. He's the best.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Eric. Appreciate you
thank
popping on,
you.
man.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Luke.
You got it.
See you.
All right, Mr. Charlie. How we doing on time over there? I know we're at the hour mark. I have a few questions lined up, but I also don't want to keep you longer than you were planning on. I know you guys might have had plans tonight or something. So.
Are you talking to us?
Yeah, I don't want to keep you guys too long. If you guys have plans or somewhere to go.
It's already dark now, so I don't get to feed my hummingbirds tonight. Oh, jeez. Passing up that.
You know I feel bad about that. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, Sherry. So we're going to stay on all night now that it's working.
Yeah, right. Thank you. We had a question coming in. We already talked about the stage character, so we got that one covered here. This is a good one from Bernardo. Obviously practice is something that we all do to prevent things from going wrong. However, Bernardo want to know, do you plan for outs, for mess ups before trying risky things? It could take a lot of takes on video, but in person, obviously, you're planning to not mess up, but do you plan to mess up? Like, do you actually practice that too?
Well, yeah, I practice recoveries from like a drop. If I'm juggling, I drop a club, I throw one high and I pick it off the ground and catch the one that comes down. So I'm kicking up a ball. Yeah. So you have to. That's when you're rehearsing and you mess up, you keep going, and then you've learned how to get out. There are some things I put on video that I wouldn't do in real life. Because I do have the advantage of being able to do it in several takes. There's when Sherry's filming, she's like, if it takes more than 3 takes, she's like, will you practice? You concentrate. So, yeah, so I can take a little more risk on video because you get to do it over and over again if you want. So, but yeah, with juggling, it's nerve-wracking. There's always the risk. It's nerve-wracking, and that's just comes with it. You pick up and keep going. And if you're talking to people, then it's easy. Everybody has drop lines, and they can go on for days that way. But if your show doesn't bother you that much, then it doesn't bother the audience as much and stuff. But yeah, with magic, you really don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
It's just practice. You'll learn. You get yourself out of a situation. If you've dug a hole for yourself, I don't know. You'll get out of it. You'll live. What is that great clip of Williamson on the British show? He did a hard clip for what was the kid's name? Do you remember sharing that?
Oh, the little boy. Yeah.
And the kid finds that they're too, and Williamson doesn't do anything. He just stares and looks. Murray, ladies and gentlemen, Murray, and it's great. It was great how he didn't try and cover it. He went with the moment because there was more entertainment with the message
Yep.
than there would have been with the trick, and it was gold. So we're human.
Yep.
If you're likable, eh, you'll live. You'll live.
We have, what's it?
Rick Lax, why would you even say that name?
Actually, since you brought him up, Charlie, Ryan Byron wants to know, what do you think about exposure of magic and people stealing from others, presenting it as their own?
You said that. So glad. Well, let me talk about it here. Let's see. I've got a little bit to talk about that. Yeah, let's see. No excuse for it. And you hear people rationalize it, they go, well, it's an old prop. Okay, so you own the prop. You don't own the trick. We all own the invisible deck as the prop, but we don't own it as a trick. Everybody owns it. All the magic world owns it. We all have the right to do it and the right to entertain with it and everything. But we don't own it. Just because you own the prop doesn't mean you own the trick. It's not your right to just ruin it for everybody else, just to expose it, for ego and greed. It's just not your right. You don't have the right to bastardize the art like that, or to steal somebody else's trick or routine and cash in on it, and then try and rewrite the history like, well, no, I found it in an old book. No, so and so. If you took it, if you don't have an honest claim on it, and you should be as ethical as you possibly can be, and as original as you can be. Just be as original as you can be, and don't go exposing stuff online. It's just terrible. It's terrible. If this keeps up, Magic's got like one generation left, and then it's all, then a great art will die from exposure. There's the Ling Chi, the Death by 1,000 Cuts. It's a Chinese torture. Death by 1,000 cuts. It's awful. Magic is invulnerable to being death by 1,000 hacks. Guys just really have no right to. They don't own that trick. They just own the prop. And shame on them for ruining it for the audience, for other magicians. It's just terrible. And they will rationalize. They'll turn themselves inside out for excuses on why they did it. And no, you did it for money and attention. That's why you did it. You're a hack. You're a hack, sir. You're a hack. Yeah, I can't watch it. If something's good, I'll hear about it. But if something's bad, I just don't. I try to avoid it because it gets me in such a bad. It's anti to see what some people will do and steal and give away and.
No bueno. On the flip side,
not friends. Just go, boy, I got 100,000 hits on that. These are not your friends.
Yeah. On the flip side, and John Shack will get to you in just a second, but we have the question of the night coming in. This one comes in from Bernardo Rodriguez, who wants to know, Sherry, the zucchini bread recipe, please.
It is darn good. Yeah, it is darn good. Yeah. Yeah, that recipe she found tattooed on an animal skin in the Andes. We keep it in a safe.
We have a loaf for you, Luke.
We do have a loaf for you, Luke. Yeah, we have a loaf for you. So
I'll eat that
Yeah.
on next week's show. How about that? Normally I eat tacos on Taco Tuesday. Next week I'll do a zucchini bread Tuesday.
That's good. That's good.
There we go.
Everybody comes over when I work with people and stuff. Everybody gets a slice of zucchini bread.
It's
And
the best.
yeah, good stuff. But but getting back to the other subject, this one other way. Say they're selling a property they don't own. That's what I wanted to say about
Gotcha.
magicians giving away secrets. That they're selling a property they don't own.
Right.
You know,
It
getting back, it gets me wrong.
you and me both, my friend. It's one of those things I've had to learn to kind of take a step back sometimes. Yeah.
It's just so disrespectful. You know,
Yeah.
don't think this art. It's a great art. It's a fascinating art. Why do you want to ruin it? Respect. That's right. That's right. Yeah, respect your fellow performers. You know, a lot of them feel, well, you know, I didn't get enough attention as a magician. You know, well, then be better. And who cares? Who cares if nobody, you know, tips their hat to you or anything? You'll know if it's good or not. You know, I didn't set out to be a big star. You know, and so forth. But you know, what is this preoccupation with pretend? Just be good. You'll know if you're doing something good. You'll know if you're entertaining somebody. Who cares if the whole world notices or not? You'll know. You'll know if you're doing good work. If you're making people, you're giving. Magic says it's a gift. You know, these guys just want to take. They want to take the accolades and take the hits and take the money and take the. Oh, it's a gift.
Yeah. I definitely wish people would just own up to why they do it. I think that's the problem. Is it's the same hollow excuses, but no one wants to actually say, yeah, I'm making a lot of money, and that's why I'm doing it. No one wants to actually say why they do it, which is sad.
Ego and greed. I did it for ego and greed. That's why I did it, and I don't think they're missing so much that magic has to offer, like real friendships, fascinating friendships, non-transactional friendships. You know, really, there are so many great people involved in this art. It brings a lot of cool people together from all walks and on this shared passion. I think I was talking to Juan Tamariz once about. He said movie directors don't get that because he also, you know, had his fingers in that. You know, he said the movie directors get around, they don't instantly bond and. You know, maybe some of the big ones do, like Spielberg and Scorsese, maybe they're buddies or something. But generally speaking, there's kind of a competition or something. And there's competition in magic, but he said that the camaraderie in magic, though, is unique in all the arts. Maybe it's because of shared secrets. Maybe it's because they'll grow up and we all enjoy playing. We all enjoy laughing and being fooled. And, you know, what they say, mom asked the kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, I want to be a magician. She goes, you can't do both. You know, I've had so many friends that I've lost over the years because they were older, but they never grew up. They grew old, but they never grew up. You know, Johnny Thompson was a kid his whole life. Monica, Ravine, you know, they not of age, but they never grew up. So when you go down that path of being the dark side of magic, well, you just robbed yourself and your art of so much joy. I don't know, so much positivity. Blah 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 blah. I would have turned me off. I bet there's like 3 people left watching this.
By the way, you might want to get in on this. Chad Long's working on a new market. It's called Strolling Exposing. So you literally walk from table to table just exposing how the trick works. Then you move on.
He is always on the cutting edge. You know, he posted a really good one during the pandemic. Water casserole. Water casserole. Yeah. I made it one night. You filled a pan with water, you know, and I think you bake it at 350. Take it out, and you've got hot water. It's a water casserole.
Brilliant. John Shack, how we doing, buddy?
Hi.
Thanks for your patience, man.
Quick, fast, hurry. So you had mentioned briefly your journals and kind of thumbed through and stuff. I'm also a journaler. I'm a fan of journaling. I've been doing it for just a few years now, though, so I'm not necessarily a pro. Um, you showed journal number 82, so
I don't
I wanted to know if
think it's like Thoreau.
I just wanted to know if maybe you had any insights for maybe the method kind of to the madness of your journaling.
Well, I just like blank books. I like them to be totally blank, which again was like Thoreau. Uh, so I just like them totally blank, so you can draw pictures on it or write on it. You can scribble on it. Yeah. So personally, I just like to have no lines, and it's not a chore. It's just it's just you have it sitting by the nightstand, and I bring it up to the studio when I'm up here, and I just it's just don't feel the need to fill the pages or do anything. Just put your brain on paper. Thoughts, ideas, and somebody shows you something. Write the history if you know it. Any any insights, any progress, anything. Just you know. So uh, what's that? Well, that was still some. Whoop, whoop. Still some work on that. Things just I don't know.
Do you tend to sketch in them a lot? Because I'm not really much of a sketcher. I do go with blank, like you had mentioned. I go the blank option, just getting sketchbooks and things. Um, I'm not much of a sketcher though. Do you find that that's required? Do you do a lot of notes?
It can be stick figures, anything, anything. Um, a lot of people say, well, how did you come up with so many ideas through the pandemic? And I was like, I went to the gym, I went to the closet, and was like, what haven't I done? What prop haven't I touched? Can I do anything with this? And I ran out of ideas dozens of times, and went back into the old book and
Do
started
you do
new
you have
lines.
do you have a methodology for like cataloging anything? Do you create indexes or anything like that for them?
No, on the computer, it's more organized, because I do a lot of stuff that's organized documents in the computer, like all the scripts and routines and stuff like that. I flesh out in there. But no, it's just numbered and dated, on the shelf. And then I
Perfect.
put bookmarks in there, like certain things that I can constantly go back to and stuff. But usually I can kind of remember, like, I remember I came up with that like in '91. I was in France. So I'll find the book from '91 and I'll thumb through and find it, the idea.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great. I'm glad you're a journaler.
I'm trying, man. Trying. Thank you guys.
Cool. Good to see you, Shaq.
Good to see you too.
All righty. Cool. Lots of great people and questions. And we got one more popping on in here. Mr. Mike Hankins, former David Copperfield creative team, and lots of other stuff. He's actually, right now, you're going to find this very interesting, Charlie. Mike is part of a improv troupe, and he'll tell you more about that now.
Oh, great.
Yes, I'll bring in Mike Hankins right now. There he is. What's up, Mike?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
great that
nice to meet you, Charlie. Nice to meet you.
Where are
So, yeah, what Luke was talking about, I auditioned for the Groundlings, and
Oh,
yeah, so I'm in their intermediate, about to go to their advanced
wow, that's
portion over
great.
there. Yeah, yeah. I do have two questions for you, and it's about character. It's about you as a character. How many versions of Charlie Frye were there before we got to this Charlie Frye?
Yeah,
That's question one. I'll wait for
yeah.
that question.
Well, I mean, it was a clown originally, so there was that character, I guess, and then the stage character. When George Carl threw my clown costume away, I guess this character just started evolving more, and then when I wanted to do talking material, I actually made a list. I'm like, oh, I'm always like a silent comedian, like a old movie silent comedian, like a Chaplin Keaton kind of character, but And so I just made a list of what all the things I'm into. And basically, it all came down to I'm a vaudevillian. That's really what I am. I'm a vaudevillian. So that's really my character. I'm a vaudevillian. I'm a clown. I'm a physical comedian. So that's thinking of myself. I think over the years, it got to the point where I feel comfortable with. I often say some of the best characters on stage that I know are exaggerations of themselves. Like Mac is a country boy, Casey. Jeff Hobson is very flamboyant. His character is so great. It doesn't play it as gay anymore because that politically is a touchy subject. But he's still flamboyant. He's very Liberace. He's very flamboyant. So he's still Hobson. It's but it's I don't know. I think it's a better place.
Yeah,
So
awesome. Thank you.
your stage persona is like you on steroids. You amped up a little bit. Just you plugged in and amped up a little bit, exaggerated for a theatrical effect.
Amazing. Thank you so much for answering that. And then my second and final question. I don't want to take too much of this time. This is amazing. What is one non-magic book that influenced you the most in magic?
Oh, oh, oh. Well, Playboy, I guess. I was a big one.
That's awesome.
Growing. I see the world. I don't know. Yeah, Mad Magazine. Ooh, Mad Magazine. Yeah. I have a Sergio Aragonés over here that he drew. Sweetie, you want to fetch the Sergio Aragonés? That's what I'm trying. Yeah, Mad Magazine affected me a lot, I think. Ooh, here it comes. This is Sergio Aragonés did this. Ooh, can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, that's freaking awesome.
It is. Ah, ah, he's the greatest.
Yeah.
He came at the castle the same night he and Elvira and Pee Wee Herman. And Elvira used to be a showgirl. We've met her a few times. Nobody would recognize her on makeup, but she's a fantastic talent. But Sergio Aragon has always been my hero, and we have a close mutual friend who is one of his writer for Groove the Wanderer, Mark Evanera, brilliant writer in L.A. and a cartoon producer, and everything. And he always said that I'll bring Sergio to your show. One of these days, I'll bring Sergio to your show. And so we played the Castle, and I think it was 2018. We hadn't played there in like 30 years. And before it had been, 2018. Sergio came, and then during the pandemic, he was watching the videos, and he has all our DVDs and stuff. He knows a lot about physical comedy, and he loves magic and stuff. And he studied mine, and all his little drawings and they tell a story. I used to tell him as a clown, we used to study these. We'd get gag ideas from his little cartoons. It was just brilliant. So, maybe Mad Magazine was an influence.
Awesome.
I love reading things. I love, during the pandemic, I read a lot of classics that I should have read in school, but I didn't. Like, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and The Fountainhead, and all that kind of stuff. Crime and Punishment, some Dickens, So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just babbling. I'm just rambling. Sorry.
I love it.
Sorry.
I was a Cracked magazine kid growing up, so I got into some Mad magazine, but I liked Cracked. I don't remember why, but
Younger than me. You're younger than me.
yeah.
Well,
Well, maybe because I'm from Baltimore and the word crack was in there. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was the competition. It's like in America, you've got two of everything. You got Coke and Pepsi. You got McDonald's and Burger King. You got Schwarzenegger and you got Stallone. You got Brad Pitt. You got me. But when Cracked came out, I saw that as the Mads competition came along, and I was already, I was already set in my ways. But Cracked got Don Allen, and so it ended up with Don Allen, and he was just one of the greatest, funniest cartoonists ever. I don't. Anybody who doesn't know who Don Allen is, look up Don Martin. Sorry, I'm thinking Don Allen, the magician. His cartoons were so funny. And a friend went to his house in Florida, and they said behind him in his office was this giant cartoon that he had done for Roman orgy with all Don Martin characters, with their big noses, their weird feet, and everything. And yeah, and if you look at him, he kind of looked like his cartoons. He kind of looked like it. Most cartoonists kind of resemble their cartoons. The Mona Lisa resembles Leonardo da Vinci. They've made the measurements and they go, wow, everything's a little bit of a self-portrait. I think so much time spent in front of a mirror trying to get an expression right and stuff like that. Everything. Well, series yeah, right. Here's one of my self-portraits. That's me.
Is that Asshole the Clown? Is that who that is?
Clown. Butthole the Clown. Yeah.
Butthole the Clown.
Yeah, that's
Butthole the Clown. Amazing.
Last
No,
time
that's
he did
actually Charlie.
Well,
the last time he did
I appreciate it.
town was Amazing Jonathan's memorial.
Yeah.
He showed up to give Jonathan a dignified send-off there. But yeah, I hope I didn't babble too much there. I hope I kind of answered a question or two there for you. I don't know.
No, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I appreciate it so much.
Good luck with the groundlings. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like doing a lot of impressions and voices and all that stuff. So I'm trying my thing. So we'll see what happens.
You got a character in your look. You got an expressive look. It's great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna go now. I don't know what to say.
See you, Mike. Thanks for being on.
Bye.
See you, buddy. See, Charlie, lots and lots of people want to know stuff from you. And that's why I'm glad you decided to share with the world in your book, obviously. But this is just so invaluable for people to be able to get inside your head, get some, advice from one of the best. And you are one of the best because you care so much.
When they say, I wrote a book to give back the magic art, to give back. I didn't. I wrote to take back. I just wanted to take back. Cash in on some of this crap. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
so we're at the 7 o'clock hour, top of the hour around here. I have one last question for you. This one comes from Richie to Magic. If you can only keep one book, it's the desert island question. Which book would you take with you on a desert island? And then we'll wrap up from there. That's a good one. So
I like what George Bernard Shaw said. He said, what 5 books would you bring? He said, I'd bring 5 blank books.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'd probably bring a blank book. Sit around and draw the birds.
All right. That sounds good to me. I got...
or something.
So, I've got a favor to ask of you. If we hit our stars goal tonight, our stars is basically people that are they're kind of like in a drawing. It's kind of like a raffle. And I have a copy of your book that I was wondering, because I know you mentioned the zucchini handoff. I was wondering if, when we did the handoff, if you would sign the book that I would actually do a giveaway for to one of our lucky viewers. Would you be so kind to do that?
Yes, and I'll throw in one of the cards.
Okay.
That the collector's edition, which sold out overnight, should have gotten more of them. It actually has this card stuck in. That's about all. It has a nice cover, the slipcase and everything. But I'll throw this in, and we'll just X out the part that it says deluxe edition blank of 75. We'll just X that out, but we'll stick that in there, and you can use that as a bookmark. And,
cool.
And that's just.
All righty.
That's a little thing. Stuff in the front to justify people paying twice as much for the book.
Well, I'm so happy for you to have that treatise.
Do that off and autograph the book whenever you want to get together. Yeah, we're so close.
Cool.
Just down the road.
All righty. Well, again, I know this was a pain in the butthole. Butthole the Clown. So thank you for the patience between you and Sherry. You guys have been great helping to make this happen because I did my best, but you guys pushed through. So thank you.
Thanks to Sherry's phone. Thanks to Sherry's phone. I don't have a smartphone. I have a smart wife. So it's her
Well
phone.
said. Well said. Well, thank you to both of you. Thank you for your time, for your wisdom, for sharing the advice that you did. And Charlie, you are one of the best, not just magicians, but it's one of the best people in the world. So thank you for sharing your time with us.
Keep it coming. Yeah. So why I'm on so long, but I always say Marcel Marceau, he was wonderful when he actually did an interview. I'm afraid I'm the same way. So
We love you, buddy. And thank you again for everything, Charlie. Appreciate you.
bye, Luke.
Cool. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. See you, Sherry.
Man, I thought we'd never be done with that crap. God,
See you guys.
bye.
Oh my gosh, guys, we did it. That was, I didn't know if it was going to happen tonight, but it did. So thank you again to Charlie, to Sherry. They really are beautiful people, and I'm glad we were able to bring this to you guys on a Taco Tuesday tonight. So thank you, and thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So, friends, I've got a little bit more show for you before we knock off tonight. We went long with the interview. As you see below, we have the goal. We're almost 90% there. It will be for a copy of the book signed from Charlie with the little bit of the special edition stuff in there for you too. And if you already own the book, then we'll just give you the equivalent in store credit. Plus, we're doing 2 prize spins on top of this. So if we do hit our goal tonight, there will be a winner that gets a signed book. And we're going to do 2 prize spins for you guys as well. So if you'd like to donate while we finish up the show. Because I have some news for you too, a little bit of magic news that I guess we'll just go ahead and jump on into right about now. So hang tight while we do that. The first thing, I saw one of our friends earlier, Oscar Munoz, was on with us. And Oscar's wife has been dealing with some kidney stones. And Oscar posted this earlier. Even though they've gone through stuff like this before, it doesn't make it any easier. So Oscar Munoz, we love you and we are thinking about you. That is the first thing I wanted to bring you tonight, news-wise. The next thing is our friend John Fitzsimmons, also known as Fitz, boom. He went the other night to check out Lance Burton and crew. There is John Fitz and his wife and Lance Burton and the crew hanging out after their show there in Arizona. So I wanted to bring you some news there from our friend Fitz hanging out with the legend Lance Burton. Very cool stuff. Also wanted to share this with you, which I thought was pretty funny on what not to do as a magician, in my opinion. This guy is literally doing the streamers from mouth, and then he's proceeding to wrap a kid up with it afterwards. I don't know about you, but that seems like a really bad idea and pretty freaking gross to be taking this out of your mouth and then wrapping it around a child. What not to do right there. Let's not do that because that's just not a good look at all. I'm done. I can't look at this anymore. No more. Okay. So that is another thing that I wanted to bring you. A couple more pieces of news for you from the All Things Magic website. You may have actually heard about this, or maybe you haven't. There was a magician, Paul Carpenter, that was actually hired to do fake robocalls impersonating President Biden. This is the guy, Paul Carpenter. He's currently located in New Orleans. I know he was in Vegas at one point. And there is a video talking about this and the shenanigans with Paul Carpenter. We did post the video talking about it on the All Things Magic website. He got paid a whopping $150 to do that, and now he is in a world of chaos all over 150 bucks. There you go. The other bit of magic news I got for you real quick as we wind down is Chris Angel, the mind freak. He was on the Steve-O Wild Ride podcast. Not only did they talk about him, but they also talked about an experience where Chris met up with David Blaine. It's an interesting story. For those interested, check that out. We have that also on the All Things Magic website under our news section. So that is another piece of news for you there. We also had a little bit of Throwback Thursday. Penn and Teller on Saturday Night Live back in 1986 doing their Upside Down act. Check that out. That's from last week. We'll have a new Throwback Thursday coming your way this week. So check that out as well. We do post on the regular news and updates on the All Things Magic website. So be sure to have a look over there to get your updates. All right. We are inching closer towards our goal, which means we now have time to bring you a couple of quick things before we go. So let's jump on into our top 3 magic tricks this week.
Hold up.
Top 3 time, we're going to jump on in. The first one is, this one's not really something we're going to talk too much about because we only literally have one left. This is the bottle from Adrian Vega. It is sold out. We cannot get any more for the time being. If you've been having a look at this one, we've got this one left for you guys. This one allows you to have a signed card appear inside of the bottle. Not just with pills, you can substitute other things too, but this is what he did on Penn and Teller Fullest right there, as you can see it. This is number 1 though this week. Number 1 is Rings by Ben Williams. If you are a worker, strolling magician, if you love to do magic that leaves a really cool souvenir, this one's also good for couples as well, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to show you what this looks like. We are one of very few magic shops carrying this one, so have a look at Rings real quick, real short clip, but I think you'll enjoy it, and this is a download. You can learn this tonight.
So here's what the spectator sees. You take a single playing card and you tear 2 rings from it. You then have these rings signed and placed in their hands, and there is no doubt that they are not linked. Yet, when they open their hands and you display them, they have impossibly linked, and you can hand these signed and linked rings out for your spectators to keep forever. So Rings isn't just a magic trick. It's a piece of magic. It involves 2 people. It happens in their hands. It's super easy to perform, so you can just concentrate on giving your spectators that perfect moment. And best of all, you'll realise after you've done this a couple of times, it only takes a couple of minutes to make. So if you're interested in learning how to create this impossible object, then I'd love to teach you.
Number 1 of the night, that is Rings from Ben Williams. And I know there's a little bit of prep you have to do, but even John Stevens says, I suck at arts and crafts, and even I can make this one, Rings. This one is really, really cool. I like it a lot. Ben Williams is a very clever guy, and we're proud to have this one for you at the All Things Magic site. Time for number 2, magic trick number 2. This is more of a, not a trick, but it's something you can do tricks with. This is a beautiful, absolutely stunning coin set. This is the Morgan CS set by N2G. These are the replicas, but I want to show you these up close and why I love them so much. Number 1, listen to the sound. They've got weight to them. Not only do they look the part, again, these are replicas, but also, not only do they sound good as a set, but also, listen to this. This is the money shot right here. You get the ringing sound. You get the sound of real coins. This is freaking sweet. Yes, you get a full set of these all 4, and you also receive the turtle that goes with them. The turtle is currently on top. This is the turtle that you can see that the coverage is exceptional. It is very nice. These coins look And I dare to say no one is ever going to guess that these are replicas. And the best part is these are only $60. These are sold out everywhere else. We have got these. We've got a limited supply. I'm got a set for myself. Sorry, one of these is going to me. But I love this a lot. So these are the Morgan coin sets. $60. Jamie Schoolcraft makes the best coin gaffs in the world. If you do not have the bank for that, this is the next best thing. I stand by these. $60. You got all 4 replicas and the turtle along with it. These are freaking awesome. F-bomb approved for you guys. Absolutely. That's number 2 tonight on our top 3 list. And number 3 coming in, this is Mr. Gloves. I had to talk about this one because back in November, I shared a video of Juan Pablo doing this in the All Things Magic group. I thought it was a cute, creative thing. The group just blew up. There were people like Dan Sperry saying this was great. Nicola Arcane saying this is wonderful. Richard Sanders raving about Juan Pablo. And even Jeff McBride saying super cool. I really enjoyed this. I didn't know it was going to be a released product. It was released today. We've got them. And this, my friends, is what it looks like. This is so cool and creative. Don't let some of the cheekiness of it sway you. It's also a fooler. And there you go. That's number 3. This week, my friends, if you would like to check out any and all of our hand-picked magic tricks, we've got the link for you in the chat right now. As always, we only supply you with the best of the best magic tricks. That is my vow to you. Since day one, doing this 2 years ago, we only stock and supply you with the best stuff. It's all curated and handpicked for you. And that is this week's top 3 magic tricks for you.
Hold up.
Alrighty, and that is going to do it for tonight. I still can't get over the fact that we actually had Charlie frickin' Frye with us for the better part of an hour and a half. That is just craziness to me. that we got him for that long. So thank you again to Charlie for hanging out with us. We have 97% to the goal. That is correct. We have 97. We're 3% away, less than 3% to our goal on our stars list. So if you would like, actually, we're 99% now. It just hasn't caught up. I have a feeling that we are going to get to our goal. We are literally about 1,200 stars away right now. So help us hit the goal, and we will do a giveaway that includes a signed Charlie Frye book and 2 spins on our prize wheel with no whammies, just prizes tonight. So if you'd like to donate your stars, if you haven't done that yet, get your stars here, fb.com/stars. It's like a raffle, basically. You donate towards our show, we put you in a raffle, and if you are one of the people that then it lands on, you are going to win the prize. So this is kind of like the raffles they do at the sports events and stuff like that. So that is what we do around here. So we got some more support coming in. We got support coming in from Scott R. Smith. We got some support coming in right now from Mr. Cram. And I think we are going to hit the goal. I'm just going to have to let it refresh here for just a moment. We are 99.42%. I think we're just about there. I'm looking at it on the back end here. And then I'll have to add your names because it has been a very busy night for me with all the logistics behind the scenes. So stay tuned. We're going to see who's going to win the big thing. We have officially hit our goal. I see it behind the scenes.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
All right. So we did hit our goal tonight. And as always, we always thank you for your support. So thank you very much. Tonight and every single week, you guys help us do the biggest giveaways around. So thank you. We appreciate it. All righty. So we're now able to give away a Charlie Frye signed book, and we're going to do 2 of the prize spin wheels. Jason R. Smith, Charlie Frye is the man so talented. I always wondered if he models his character from Charlie Chaplin. Yes, I could see maybe some of the similarities there. Yeah, maybe he's still watching. Maybe he could pop in and let us know yay or nay on that. But we did hit the goal, which means, friends, it is now time for me to play some catch up around here. I have to start adding names to our giveaways. So let's go ahead and get ready for our big giveaway of the night right now. And thank you, Mr. Josh out there, for your support. We got you on there. Ralph Forbes as well. Thank you, Mr. Ralph. We have also got a whole bunch of more people here that I have to get added. I think, let me just go through some of the original people that I saved earlier. Peter Nile out there. Thank you, Peter, for your support for tonight's show. Peter Nile, regular around here. John Stevens, we appreciate that. Eric Elmore as well. Scott R. Smith, one of our guests tonight. And thank you to everyone that called in to chat with Charlie tonight. We had Scott, we had Eric, we had John Shack, we had Michael Mayo. Lots of our good friends out there tonight. James Hodge, I got you added over here as well. Thank you for your support too. John Stevens, I got you. Ray Coleman, I see Mr. Ray has also donated some stars tonight. Thank you for that. You are in the running along with Mr. Jeffrey Allen out there. Again, if you are someone rather that has already purchased the book, we will offer if you like, to do a $75 store credit instead of buying, getting the book. But it will be signed, which makes it very unique as well. So if you do have it, don't worry. There's still a good reason to enter tonight. Mr. Cram, thank you for your support out there as well. All right, now I've got some stuff to do behind the scenes here. So yes, Derek Bumpus, thank you, Mr. Bumpus. I see you out there too, Mr. Bumpus. Thank you so much. Chad Long also donating tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chad Long. John Shack, I got you covered as well. I'm going to go now behind the scenes and see who I'm missing. Jason R. Smith. I need to get Jason. I also need to get Jake Rober, who actually has a prize that we are due to him when he is back in action from the road. Ryan Jones out there. We got to get Mr. Ryan on our giveaways tonight. Good luck to you, Mr. Ryan. Thank you for your support for tonight's show. Mark Buffett, Yort Spades. Yort Spades, I got you added there as well. Let's see who's Sammy Hawks. I got to get you and Chris Owens, so we'll do Sammy. first. And then, what was the name again? Sorry, Chris Owens. Chris Owens, you are also added to our giveaways. Kenneth Havard. Let me get Kenneth added tonight. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty. Fitz, I got to get Mr. Fitz. I got you, Fitz. Boom, baby. I got you covered. Ryan Daniels, thank you for your support. I see you out there. And also, thanks for popping on tonight to ask your question to the legend, Mr. Charlie Frye. Mike McClure, I got you added. Joe Berman, of course, my friend. You are good to go. James Schoonover, Mr. James, always a pleasure. Hope life is going well on your side of the computer screen. Ryan Wallace, I got to get you, the other Ryan out here. Ryan Wallace, and thank you to Ryan as well for joining us tonight as one of our guests on our interviews that we did there. I got Jason Fitz, Mr. Cram, Brian Cornwall, got Brian. Also, Lawrence Bandani. Good to see Lawrence out there, our friend from Canada. All righty, so Lawrence Bandani, you are good to go, Lawrence. I think I'm misspelling the heck out of his last name, though. Let me just double check that. I try to get it right. B-A-D. We'll just copy it. There we go. There we are. All right, friends. We're getting close to wrapping this up. So hang tight. We're going to do our big giveaway here in just a moment. Doug James as well, our guest from last week. My very first Magic mentor was actually here last week to talk about the importance of mentorship and all that good stuff. Also, Big Lou was donating tonight. Thank you, Lou. Good to see you out there on a Taco Tuesday. If you are one of our new friends here, we do these live shows each and every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time. We have guests on the semi-regular now. That's the plan moving forward. We try to help you out with some magic advice, try to give you a quick look at some of our top picks of the week when it comes to magic tricks, some of the magic news going on, all in one place each and every week. So if you're new here, we'd love to see you on one of our upcoming shows, okay? Just adding a couple more names before we go ahead and pull the trigger and see who is going to take home some goodness tonight. We have a lot of star supporters, so thank you. And that makes my job a little bit harder trying to play catch up, but that's a good problem to have at the end of the day. So I think we're getting close to the end of our list of names here. So thank you again for your patience. Got to get Mr. Malik, one of our regulars out there. Good to see you, Malik. And hopefully Miss Maya is also doing well over there where you guys are. Alrighty. The Bumpus fam. And I think that is it. I think I got everyone. We are caught up to our star supporters. If we win, can we press our luck to win the legend himself? That's pretty funny. Got you guys. Alrighty. So I think we are all set. Again, your patience is appreciated.
Thank you for holding. Someone will be right with you.
And number two, appreciate your support. Richie the Magic, I got you right there on our giveaways right here. I got you, Richie. He says that I missed him. I just want you to know I got you right there. And thank you, Mr. Malik. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best to bring you more interviews and chats and just information and help with your magic each week. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying more of the new format. We are definitely going to continue moving forward in this direction. That is the plan for sure. And we're going to, continue to hold off on some of those free giveaways for the time being as well, just as a result. So hopefully we'll bring those back eventually, but right now we'll take a little break on the freebies, okay? So, yeah. All right, so here we go, my friends. Let us go ahead, and you are saying press our luck for the zucchini bread, the infamous zucchini bread. All right, everybody, let's see who's going to win. Alrighty, here we are again, and this is for the book, signed, and a couple of spins on our prize wheel. Here we go. Big giveaway of the night, thanks to all of you. And the big winner is Lawrence Bandani, one of our old friends out there. He's a regular. He's been hit or miss, but he's back again, and that is good to see him out there. Lawrence, congratulations on winning the Charlie Frye book, which will have him signed for you. And I'm now also going to jump over to our prize wheel. And Lawrence, we are going to jump in and do 2 spins just for you. We have our whammy wheel. And how we doing out there, lounge? Good to see you, my friends. But we also have just the prize wheel, which is what we're going to work on right now for Lawrence Bandani. He's going to get 2 spins on our prize wheel. So let's see what he's going to win on spin number 1. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, my friends. And I'll take a look at our top leaderboard of stars tonight, too, just to check out who is in the lead. And don't forget, we do a $100 shopping spree at the end of each month for our top star supporters. And right now, we're looking at top supporters: Scott R. Smith, James Schoonover, and Chad Long. Top 3. All righty, you're going to get number 1. Let me write this down. Hallucination times 2. Now, you guys might be wondering what that means. Well, there is a really cool version of the moving ink plot from Taiwan Ben called Hallucination. There's also an examinable version of WoW, the WoW gimmick, that's also called Hallucination. So he is going to win both of those products as a little bit of a bundle. So that is what he's going to win to start. We got another spin. Let me also remove that prize, and we will remove the other one because I always double these up right there. So he's going to get that plus the book plus this. Let's see what he's going to win on the double up. He got the book, he got the hallucinations, and now he is going to win. I don't know. Looks like he's going to win a Wowlet from this guy. I think that's what it's going to be. Someone make a note of that. Going to get the wallet, which is worth $140. You get the wallet, and you get the WoW gimmick to go with it. So that's $140. The 2 hallucinations, they're about $100, plus the book is at $75. We're looking at like $300 worth of stuff tonight, plus to our big winner, Lawrence Bandani. So a big old congratulations. Going out to Mr. Lawrence. And of course, Lawrence, you need to drop us an email. info@allthingsmagic.com. You got 1 week to claim your prize. We do stick with that, so be sure to do that. We'll get your information and we'll get all this stuff shipped up to you up there in old Canada. So one more time, let's give it up to our friend Lawrence.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All righty, so there we go. Our top 3 tonight on our leaderboard are officially Scott R. Smith, James Schoonover, and Chad Long. So I'm going to, unless things change, I'm going to grab these top 3 people, add them to my list, and when we get to the beginning of next month, we'll take this week's top 3 and the other weeks, put them on a wheel, and if it lands on your name as one of our top 3, you're going to get a $100 shopping spree to the All Things Magic shop. So thank you to our top supporters tonight, and thank you to everyone that helped us to hit our goal tonight of 30,000 stars. Alrighty, I think it is now time real quick to do a recap. And we will shut this down. So here we go. Let me just grab this and this. And if you just got here, we talked about a whole lot of stuff with Charlie Frye. That was the first piece of recap. And then we talked about some magic. So here we go. It is time for the recap.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Let's do it. Magic time. Alrighty, it is time for the recap. Wanted to let you know about the bottle. We do have them in stock. We literally have 1 left. This is the signed card to bottle that Adrian Vega did on Fullis. We got them here for you, at least 1. Then we told you about the rings. This is a linking card effect where you tear out the center of a card from itself and then you link it and you can hand it out and give it to them as a souvenir. Great for weddings, as you can see here. Great for any time. And it is something that there's no switch at the end. They literally get to keep the card linked together that they just saw you do right before their eyes. Also, the Morgan coin set. These are replicas. I swear by these. I love them. The quality is here. They sound good. They look good. And yeah, they are not the real deal, but they sure could fool anybody. I love this set. Got one for me. That was something I want to tell you about. And then this is something I didn't even know was going to be a product. It turned out it was. Mr. Gloves from Juan Pablo. This one is clever. It is smart, and it's a fooler, and it is brand new as of today. So those are the 3 things that we talked about on the magic side. If you want to grab any of that stuff, we got the link in the chat for you. And then we talked to you about a little bit of magic news, along with our thoughts going out to Oscar Munoz and his wife. Also, good to see John Fitz out there. Fitzsimmons, we call him Fitz, out there hanging out with Lance Burton. And of course, one more time, do not, and I repeat, do not do this with your magic. Don't do it. Don't do mouth streamers and then cover a child in something that just literally came out of your mouth. That is just not a good look.
Oh my God!
Not a good look, dude. Not a good look. So that was the other thing about what not to do tonight. So join us again next week, next Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern time, to hang out with us here. Find out who our next guest may be. Find out what the next tricks are that we're going to talk about. And find out who our next big winner will be. This week it was Lawrence Bundani. So we are all set to wrap up. I know we went long tonight, but sometimes it happens. And it's all for a good reason, because it's just fun hanging out with you guys. So thank you for being here. And thank you again to our special guest tonight, Charlie Frye and his beautiful wife, Sherry. Their patience in helping us get connected to make tonight's show happen. Wouldn't have happened without that patience over there. So they are beautiful, beautiful people. And so are you for being here tonight. Thank you, my friends. And I'll catch you next week right here for more Taco Tuesday. Here we go. Thank you to our big winner. Glad you were here, right? Big winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, that's literally the Mouth Coils COVID edition. That's a big old fail. Good to see you out there, Ryan Wallace, and thanks again for joining us on the old interview portion of tonight's show. Thanks, Ralph Forbes. Appreciate it very, very much. And yes, thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Frye as well. Mr. Mayo, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that very, very much. Doing my best to bring you guys more and more new stuff along the way. Jeffrey Allen, my pleasure. Good to see you out there, buddy. To my first Magic Mentor, thank you, Mr. Doug. Love you, buddy. I'll see you soon, I guess, huh? Thanks, Mike. And yes, much love and much thanks to Charlie Frye. See you, everybody.
Thank you, and good night.